The air was thick with the smell of spray paint and shattered dreams when I found my ranch in ruins. My fences were slashed, the barn windows smashed, and red paint dripped like blood across the stable doors. A sign was hammered into the dirt, "Community violation. Trespassers will be prosecuted." My hand shook as I held a sheriff's report in one hand and photos in the other, staring at the wreckage of my home. I wasn't even part of their HOA. I never signed their papers, never agreed to their rules. Yet, there I stood, clutching a court summons with forged documents bearing a signature that looked like mine, demanding $87,000 in fines. They'd gone too far. I gritted my teeth and muttered, "You've messed with the wrong rancher." As I turned to call my lawyer, my phone buzzed a reporter, saying the HOA had sued me, claiming I'd vandalized their land with doctored drone footage. This wasn't just a dispute. It was war. My name is Tom Hargrove, a 52-year-old rancher on a 60-acre spread just outside Cedar Hollow, Texas. 5 years ago, I sold my hardware store and bought this land for peace, to raise horses, and to live quietly with my wife, Sarah, who runs a small animal rescue, and our teens, Caleb and Hannah. I made sure this property was free from any HOA's grip, raw, open land, no shared roads or fences. For a while, it was paradise. Then, a year ago, a new HOA president, Victor Grayson, took over the nearby Willow Creek community. A slick-talking, power-hungry man in his 60s, Victor decided my ranch should fall under his control, despite the deed proving otherwise. It started with polite letters, then threats. His compliance officers drove by daily, snapping photos. I caught one, a guy named Derek, flying a drone over my stables. I warned him with my shotgun in hand. The sheriff backed me up, but 2 weeks later, a sign appeared on my land. Private HOA road, residents only. I tore it down and confronted them at their office, shouting, "The law's on my side." That's when the real fight began. The HOA's attacks escalated. Fake fines, forged county inspector emails, and complaints against Sarah's rescue, claiming it violated health standards. Animal control was called twice, both times leaving with apologies. Then, 2 months ago, we returned to find our barn windows shattered, our daughter's pony injured, and red paint scrawled with, "Remove violations or pay." We suspected Victor's crew but lacked proof until their latest stunt. They broke my fence again, vandalized the stables, and got caught on a neighbor's trail cam, clear as day. I saved that footage for court. Then, they showed up on my driveway: Victor, Derek, and a third board member, Greg, holding a crowbar. Victor waved a forged contract with my signature, claiming I'd joined their HOA. Derek swung the crowbar into my truck's window, glass exploding. I picked it up, heart pounding, as Sarah dialed the sheriff. That's when I realized this wasn't just harassment. They were forging documents to steal my land. The courtroom felt like a freezer, tension as sharp as the Texas wind. My lawyer, Ellen Whitaker, a fierce woman with a steel gaze, sat beside me, clutching our evidence, photos, videos, and the forged contract. Across from us, Victor grinned smugly in his tailored suit, flanked by Derek and Greg, their lawyer, Martin Cole, known for twisting truths. Ellen stood tall. "Your Honor, my client, Tom Hargrove, isn't part of Willow Creek HOA. These documents are forged." Judge Harlan, stern and weathered, raised a brow. "You're alleging forgery?" Ellen nodded, presenting my deed, proving my land's independence, and a forensic report confirming the signature wasn't mine. The room went silent. Then, Ellen dropped the bombshell: trail cam footage of HOA members vandalizing my property. Victor's face drained of color. But the real game changer was Caleb's discovery: deleted HOA emails, accidentally sent to the wrong address, revealing Victor's plan. Find him until he folds or sells. Copy his signature. No one checks. The courtroom gasped. Judge Harlan ordered a recess, warning forgery is a serious accusation. Outside, Sarah whispered, Channel 5 aired our story. They're calling it Rancher versus HOA Mob. Social media is exploding with justice for Tom. Neighbors shared their own HOA horror stories. But that night, the fight turned darker. At the north end of the ranch, I found liar, thief, fraud, dead painted on the hay barn, a burned family photo at its base. Someone had been inside our home. I chased a figure in a hoodie who dropped a key tagged with Willow Creek's logo. The sheriff promised to run prints, but I knew someone close had betrayed us. The next morning, I found boot prints by the generator's shed, its backup camera wires cut with precision. Sarah found an unstamped note in our mailbox. drop the case, or the next fire won't be a warning. Caleb, inspecting the wires, said, "This was surgical, Dad." I clenched my fists. They didn't know who they were dealing with. Ellen filed an emergency motion to include the new evidence, the key, the note, and the vandalism. Digging deeper, we found Victor's HOA had used a contractor, Pineview Services, which mistakenly delivered fencing to my ranch, listing it as a pending integration zone. They'd forged records to pull my land into their system. At the evidentiary hearing, Victor looked shaken, his mustache gone. Then, a shock. My old business partner, Carl Ramsey, who'd helped me buy the ranch, appeared as their witness. He admitted to an unofficial plan to annex my land into the HOA, using old files to forge my signature. I felt betrayed. Ellen pounced. "This proves a conspiracy." Judge Harlan hinted at criminal charges, shaking the room. The next day, news broke. Greg, the third HOA member, was found unconscious in their clubhouse with a confession note. Ellen read it to me over the phone. "I falsified documents under Victor's orders to force Tom Hargrove out. We bribed a county clerk in turn and used HOA funds for intimidation. I can't live with this." Victor and Derek vanished. Carl turned himself in. The case went federal when we uncovered a hidden HOA account tied to a state rep candidate, Nathan Caldwell, who'd funded the scheme to flip my ranch for a luxury housing project. The FBI raided the HOA office, arresting Victor at a golf club and Derek in a trailer. Caldwell fled, but they caught him days later when his private security tried to repossess my land. For SUVs rolled up at night, but sheriff cruisers and FBI agents swarmed them. Caldwell, cuffed, hissed, "You ruined everything." I shot back, "You messed with the wrong family." In the final hearing, we laid out everything: Greg's confession, forged records, burner phone text planning elimination, and Caldwell's blueprints targeting my ranch. Judge Harlan awarded us $2.1 million for damages and recommended felony charges. The courtroom erupted in applause. That night, we sat under the stars, the ranch safe. But victory felt heavy. The hay barn was gone, Hannah's pony scarred, and Sarah sleepless. So, I founded the Land Defender Network, with Ellen as legal advisor and Caleb building an online platform to fight HOA abuse. Neighbors rebuilt our barn in a community effort, and Hannah's essay on courage won a state award. Sarah turned her rescue into a therapy center. Weeks later, Greg sent a letter from prison. "Tom, I followed men who craved control. Your strength broke me. I'm sorry. I wasn't ready to forgive, but I kept it. We rebuilt, stronger." I placed a sign at the gate: "Private property, protected by truth." The HOA was dismantled, Caldwell faced federal prison, and our story sparked a movement. No family would face this alone again. What do you think about fighting injustice and facing threats like we did? Share your thoughts below. Have you faced similar battles? Should you stand your ground with force or fight smart with truth? Let's hear your stand.